Sorry for the clickbait title, but hear me out. Fujifilm Summit 2024 will be on the 20th of February. It's almost certain that the X100 Mark VI will be introduced. And my guess is that during the year of 2024, Fujifilm will release several more cameras. For example, the X Pro 4, perhaps the X-T40 and also perhaps the X-E5. Fujifilm is well known for their retro design cameras and also because of the X100V, hyped for that case. They all look beautiful, different than camera brands like Canon and Sony. All the new Fujifilm cameras will also get new film simulations, I guess. And the retro design and the film simulations are the reasons why people buy Fujifilm. But there's one thing some people desire in combination with retro design and film simulations, and that's the full frame sensor. But that's something Fujifilm can't offer and probably will never offer. Entering the Nikon Zf. If this camera could handle film simulations internally, would it be game over for Fujifilm? Hi and thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Furk, aka Phil, and today I want to talk about why Nikon should implement film simulations into the Nikon Zf via firmware update as soon as possible to rival the Fujifilm sales with the upcoming Fujifilm cameras. The Nikon Zf was, at least for me, the most exciting camera release in 2023. I talked about this several times on my channel already, and other channels and people seem to enjoy this camera for the same reason like me. As I already mentioned, the Nikon Zf is the first retro camera with a full frame sensor, and Nikon put in their best tech into this camera body, what they can currently offer, including the updated autofocus, which can come closely to Canon and Sony. All the pros I mentioned in previous videos outweigh the cons. Because this Nikon camera has a retro design and is a full frame camera, plus updated autofocus, which in my opinion I think it's better than Fujifilm with the X-T5 lineup. But there's one thing Fujifilm is still miles ahead, and that's the film simulations with the community behind it. On Fujifilm cameras you can dive deep heavily into the film simulations regarding all the nuances of settings, etc. And you are able to store them in a custom menu where you are able to switch between film simulations you have set up for your camera. On the Nikon Zf you are also able to customize your color profiles, but unfortunately it's not possible to store them properly since a custom settings menu is missing compared to Fujifilm. Cameron mentioned this in his video where he also shares some film simulations for the Nikon Zf. I will link his video up here and also below the description, but I fully agree with him. If Nikon makes it possible to save the customed color profiles and switch between them on the Nikon Zf, that fact would be just killer in my opinion. And with that feature it would rival Fujifilm even more. Cameron had the idea to use the PASM dial here to have these as film simulation slots. So basically you could switch between film simulations by turning this dial. And I think his idea is just amazing. One other idea I had is if you customize this button for film simulations, press it, which would activate the film simulation menu, and then for switching between different film simulations, just use the dial. That would be also convenient, I guess, to switch between film simulations. But first we need that firmware update to make film simulations and the necessary custom menu with it possible. But here comes the crazy part. I personally think Nikon have the possibility to do this. In the past, Nikon has proven that they have a great history of updating their cameras with firmware even after years of the release and bring new features via firmware update to older cameras. Sometimes proactively without asking the customers, unlikely some other brands. If film simulations were possible on the Nikon Zf, I think a community will build up quite quickly organically and would make this camera even more popular. What's your opinion on this topic? If you're a ZF owner, would you be interested in film simulations? Or are you a hardcore RAW shooter with post-editing workflow? I personally would like to have different film simulations on my Nikon Zf, simply because film simulations, in my opinion, would complete the retro theme of this camera. If the film simulation feature would be available on the Nikon Zf and would get popular, people might consider the Nikon Zf over one of the new Fujifilm cameras, especially if the new cameras from Fujifilm are relatively high And if Nikon does some sales or cashback promotion in 2024 to bring the price a little bit down towards the Fujifilm prices, and I think that might be possible because the Nikon ZF is long on the market right now. Again, let me know your opinion about this topic down in the comments below. As already mentioned, I think it's possible for Nikon to implement such a thing on the Nikon ZF, but let's see what the future will bring. I'm quite curious what kind of firmware update Nikon will bring on the Nikon ZF after they have released the firmware update for the Z8 now. So let's see. If you're still here, I really appreciate your time watching my video. You are the one who deserves the like. If you want to support my small little channel, you can check the link below to buy me a coffee, or just check the affiliate links below in the description. And if you want to see more videos on my channel, just click one of these.